This segment is brought to you by the Underrated Podcast.
Hello, everybody, and viewers watching at home, and welcome to the second episode of Inside the Mind, the extended version of the Underrated Podcast. So it's my segment. Today we have a very special guest. He's a TikTok influencer, and we do a bunch of other. We did a actor last time, and he's actually is an actor. What aren't you? Are you a singer?
No, I can't sing at all.
But you're also an entrepreneur. You do a lot of business related stuff also outside your content, which is also pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And people mainly know you from TikTok, which you make a bunch of different other like stories, and you just like educate people, right?
Absolutely.
And you went from 0 to 1 million followers. I think it was like 5 to 6 months.
Yeah, man, it's been a really crazy ride. I started out with TikTok back December 5th of 2019. So what is that? That's like less than 8 months. Well, I guess it's more than 8 months, but yeah, it's about 8 months of TikTok. And yeah, man, it's been a freaking crazy ride. In the first 6 months, I think, or first 5 months, I got 1 million, and now I'm at 2.2, almost 2.3. So it's just really fun. It's a fun app, man. It's been a really fun experience.
2.2, 321 videos, I believe. You just posted one earlier. And for the people that really don't know who you are, for the 2.2 million of people that don't know who you are, maybe they've heard of you. Can you tell the people that maybe who you are and what kind of content you produce?
Sure. Well, way before this, I've been running my own businesses since 2016, actually. I failed miserably in 2016, and then I figured out my stuff in 2017. Ended up, I work in e-commerce, so I have basically an online marketing company. And I also have a real estate company in the US. And that's what I focused my time on from 2017, pretty much exclusively until end of 2019. It's actually funny because I started acting. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier. I started actually taking acting lessons in March of 2018. But then I tried to do any auditions or anything until September of 2019. So about a year and a half later. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we're about September 2019. What is that, like 10 months ago, 9 months? I don't know what it is. But so I started doing auditions then. I ended up getting a few movie roles pretty quickly, small indie films, stuff like that. Now, I wanna build my online kind of presence because it's gonna be easier for me to get acting roles, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I want to start building my Instagram. So how am I gonna do that? Okay, I love telling stories. So why don't I go ahead and I know there's this cool thing called the green screen feature on TikTok. So I'm just gonna make a video on TikTok. It's really easy to make videos on there, and I'll post it to Instagram. And mind you, this is December 5th, 2019 at 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm taking a shower, just thinking about things, and I am ripped on caffeine. So I've had and caffeine hits me hard. Okay. So I'm like caffeinated, 1 a.m. Okay, I'm going to start putting up videos on Instagram. I'm just going to make them on TikTok, put it on Instagram. My first video. I love history, and a big part of acting is just telling stories. So I was like, well, history is all just stories. I have a really cool story about how we almost had World War III, and one person's action stopped all of World War III. His name is Vasily Arkhipov. I was like, that's a really cool story. That's my very first story, yeah. So I was like, you know what, this is really cool. Let me go ahead and put it up on TikTok so I can just put it on Instagram. So it was a 2-part story. I did part 1, and I uploaded it, and then I started part 2. I finished part 2, I don't know, 20 minutes later, and I look back, and part 1 already has like 1,000 views. I was like, what the heck? I had like 50 followers, and I was like, what is going on? I didn't expect anything from TikTok. All of a sudden, I'm getting literally hundreds of followers. My first video goes viral. Part 1, part 2, both go viral. Now, it's like 2:30 in the morning now, and I am so, I'm not just wired on caffeine anymore. I'm just excited. This is crazy. So I ended up doing like 5 videos that night, 5 different stories, slept for 2 hours, did more stories, and I was hooked. And that's how that kind of started. And from then, most of my stories are a lot of history stuff, a lot of news-related stuff, anything that I find interesting, anything that I might have read. I have a whole big notepad full of things, books I've read that I found interesting, that have interesting snippets, stuff like that. So that's kind of what most of my content is around. I like having the opportunity to act in some of my videos too, so I'll try to throw in a little bit here and there. So that's kind of what I focus on.
And you said before that you use TikTok to use the green screen filter to post it on Instagram.
That's why I didn't start TikTok to do TikTok. I started TikTok to have something to post on Instagram. So I'm like, TikTok was just a complete surprise to me.
So did you make the video, save it with the watermark, and did you post it on TikTok just because you didn't expect anything?
Yeah, I just posted it because I thought I had to post it to save it. I didn't know how it worked.
Oh,
so I just posted it, save, and that was it. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing.
and then once you got like kind of got your feet wet in TikTok, you got 5 videos you said at night, and then got up in the morning. Do you remember what kind of following you had once you got up in the morning?
I remember hitting 1,000 obscenely fast, and I remember hitting 5,000. I think within the first 2 or 3 days. I don't remember exactly, to be honest with you, but I just couldn't believe it. I was getting 5,000 new followers a day early on, which was crazy. And also, I'm lucky because a lot of people are doing the green screen stuff now. I kind of started a little bit earlier, and I kind of have my own way of doing it. I guess I have my own flair of how I do it. But I got lucky because I didn't see anyone doing those kinds of videos before I did. There probably were. I just didn't see them.
And there probably are now because, you've got a lot of influential fans. Like, there's people on TikTok that literally have, I'm a Chris Fahmy fan. Like, that's their username. do you look at those and say, I didn't think this was ever going to happen once I posted that one video just to save it?
Yeah, Braden, I got to tell you, man, I couldn't believe anything. I literally still till now, I can't believe it. I'm still so appreciative of everything. I appreciate every single person that reach out to me. I've had some people that put Chris Fahmy fan page and stuff, which I'm like, what? That's crazy. But I'm just happy to be able to I'm really touched that a lot of people want to listen to what I have to say. You know what I mean? And want to listen to the stories I have to say. And that to me is so motivational. I love that.
And we said in the beginning that you hit 1 million followers within 5-6 months, and obviously that's a crazy short time, especially to hit 1 million followers. And is that when you realize that something could actually be made of the content that you made?
Well, to be honest, I noticed it earlier because even 200,000 or 300,000 followers, to me that's still 200 or 300,000 different human beings. So even when I was hitting those numbers, I was like, this is crazy. This is crazy. And then it just continued to blow up from there. I mean, when I hit 1 million, I was really happy. It's just a milestone that like I said, I started this just wanting to have some videos to post on Instagram. I wasn't expecting it, and all of a sudden it kind of blew up, and people are amazing. Some of the support I get, and I love it. I love everyone that's been watching. It blows me away.
And if people were to follow what you're doing, maybe telling stories through the green screen filter, what's some of the top advice you would give to new people that are trying to follow what you're doing?
You mean, I guess advice for people that want to start doing stories and stuff?
Yeah.
Talk in general.
Just talk. Just do whatever makes you happy.
Yeah. Well, okay. So it depends. I mean, for me, I'll answer 2 things. I'll say, if you want to do just TikTok in general, just look for something that you enjoy that you could literally do every single day, and it doesn't feel like work. Because now I'm monetizing a little bit. I'm getting some brand deals and stuff, but until I hit 1 million followers, I didn't make 1 penny off anything. May have made $300 off one thing one time, but I just genuinely enjoyed it, and it wasn't a chore for me. I was happy to spend an hour or 2 a day finding the story, doing the story, writing it, and all that kind of stuff. So what I tell anyone starting TikTok is find something you can do consistently that you actually enjoy, something that makes you feel happy. Because, I mean, someone could do what I'm doing and hate it. There's no point, right? But if you want to specifically do what I do, if you like telling stories, if you like history, if you like captivating people in that kind of form of content, one of the biggest things I would say is it's best to find something that no one else has done, you know, and don't be scared to push it a little bit. You know, get out of your comfort zone. Be a little bit excited, more excited than you usually are. Because, like, you know, I've kind of built this up where at the beginning, if you watch my earlier videos, I wasn't that excited. I wasn't that great of a I wasn't that good in front of like a camera. I'm doing the selfie. I've been doing acting for a while, which helped me. But like I wasn't that good at it. You can actually tell it's like it's not so good. But then I started to get better. And one of the things I tell people is if you want to do what I'm doing, get out of your comfort zone. Do something that is that try saying a story in a way that can captivate people.
I don't know what's going on down here. I apologize. I don't know what's going on down here.
Sorry.
He's got a baseball game right now. He's going to a baseball game.
I need my camera.
Sorry, you can come with me. It's all good. I don't mind.
I needed my camera. I'm sorry.
Look,
We were trying to get in without you noticing. I'm sorry.
it's okay.
We tried.
And then so you said that you didn't know what TikTok was when you first started. You just used it for the green screen filter. And you didn't have any experience with it. So did you just like, as soon as you found out that was a filter, did you just talk about a story?
Well, no, so I actually had been using TikTok for a while earlier, but not posting videos, just scrolling. You know, your For You page just becomes For You. And like, I had it for a while, and I wasted so much time on it. So I deleted it. I was like, I'm not doing anything except literally chilling in my bed for hours watching this. So I stopped. And then around, I guess, December 1st or something, I probably re-got it and then had the idea to do it.
I mean, like I'm also kind of guilty of that. Like I downloaded it as a joke, and now I'm like I create content. Like I've got a few thousand followers, but like I don't know. It's hooking. Like it's almost an addiction at this point.
Exactly. I mean, that's how they're very smart in the way they set it up. Like their algorithm is super smart. It definitely is addicting. And like, especially when you start posting stuff, so you probably feel too, when you start posting stuff, you start to get views, you start to like monitor how things are going. Like it's cool.
Like, see, that's where my mind like kind of races to. And I know that's a big piece of advice for people that have millions of followers is don't think about the views. Just do just do your like creativity. Is that a big kind of like issue with people who are trying to make content is they think too much about views?
I mean, I understand why people do. I completely get it. Even now, like I monitor my videos too still. But I've stopped caring about having a banger video every time. I decided early on that if I was too focused on just having videos that hit like millions of views, I wouldn't be happy. Because then if I had a video that had 800,000 views, I'd be upset at it. You know, so instead of doing that, I've decided to not use that as a benchmark for success in terms of how many views I get. I still want to hit, you know, good numbers, but I'd rather be spending my time saying stories that I find interesting. You know, so I might have stories that have, you know, I'm fortunate right now. I'm usually between, you know, 600,000 or 700,000 to a few million views on a video that I really like, and only it's like 200 to 300,000 views. For me, I'm happy. I like the story. I mean, I think all my stories are good, so I like them. It doesn't bother me. Basically, one of the things that I find people get bothered if they're usually hitting 5,000, 10,000, 20,000 views, and they bomb a video. That starts to affect their mood, and you cannot let that happen because it could be a plethora of different factors. You could have the best video on the planet. If you got unlucky with the TikTok algorithm in the beginning, it's just not going to work. It is what it is.
And
you know, so that's kind of how I look at it.
Yeah, and you've you talked about how you think your stories are interesting, and maybe for the people that are new to it and haven't heard it before. So how do you keep that person from seeing the entire video? I think your videos are like minute long at most. I think that's like the most it can be. So how do you keep that person there for 1 minute listening to you?
That's a really good question. So one of the biggest parts about telling the story is the intro has to hit hard. Okay. So I always like to, one thing people don't know is I actually write my, I write my script basically in a notepad before I say it. Okay. Cause I don't want to wing it because then I'll forget some stuff or I'll go too long on something I shouldn't. So I'll write down things, and I spend literally, I'm not exaggerating, Braden, 80 to 90% of my time on the first two lines. And if I can nail those first two lines, then I'm okay for the rest. The rest just goes smoothly because the beginning is the part that has to bang. So that's kind of how you get them. If you can hook them in the beginning, get some like with a really good line or something exciting in the beginning, then the rest should flow and people would want to watch as long as you deliver at the end.
Because I remember seeing the first time I ever saw your video, I actually kind of got hooked on your content. I was just like, I kept going through your videos because I don't remember which story it was. But one video that caught my eye for a very interesting title. I know it's kind of gross, but it's the one where the 5 things that parents or 5 pictures that parents will regret having kids. That one,
yeah.
And that title I think nailed me. And I was like, now I have to see what the ending is. Now I have to.
Of course, you have to see all the way to number 1.
Like why?
I think I said something like
kids.
Yeah, exactly. And I think I said like the last one's disgusting. I don't remember exactly what I said, but a lot of time you'll kind of see I'm hinting towards the last one because I like to make one really strong, and I like to have a good lead into the last one. You know, so someone wants to actually watch till the end. You know,
and is a good like I know you have your own catchphrase. It's like it's like ASMR kind. It's like so keep up like that. I know I mentioned that. I know I mentioned that in my email to you. I'm like, yeah, big fan of that. Like, it's a great hook and it's a great thing for like it's unique to you. Is that something you just did? So like you better keep up. Cause I'm going fast. I'm going through this. And then he's like,
yeah, well,
keep doing.
That's how it started. Yeah, that's how it started. I mean, I was just like, well, I'm gonna do this all in one part. So keep up. That's literally how I said in the beginning. If you watch my videos, I said it like that, and then I started to like isolate the words "so keep up." And one of my buddies, Mina, he actually was. We were chatting, and he said we had like this big group chat, like with all my friends. And then he said something, and he was like, on WhatsApp you can make words bold.
Yes.
If you like put. So he said something, and he said "so keep up" in bold letters, and I was dying of laughter. I was like, "That's so true. Like this could be actually like a thing. People are always remembering 'so keep up.'" I was like, okay, let me try isolating it a little bit more. So then I started to make a bit more whispering and all that kind of stuff, and it kind of just became its own thing. And now I'll see comments on random TikTok videos. If someone does a video all in one part, one of the big comments will be, "It looks like he did it all in one part, so keep up." I'm like, that's crazy. It's so cool, man. Like I couldn't believe it.
And it's not the ASMR version that I did. That was just an example because it's really quiet sometimes. But we don't have to focus on that. But keeping up with your content, so like your schedule, because I've heard a lot of things where it's like creators with a lot of followers, they post too slow and the fans get angry because there's no videos. They post too fast because fans get angry now because there's too many videos. So how do you keep up with the schedule? Like what's your schedule like?
So, well, I'm gonna be honest. Like I do between my businesses and now I do a lot of trading in stocks. So, like a daily schedule for me, I wake up at 6, go for a run, back by 7, shower. As I'm eating, I'm watching things, reading things, thinking about what I want to do. Between 7 to 9 is my TikTok time. So I'll make stories from 7 to 9, those 2 hours. Whether I get 1 or 2 stories in, that's what I'm going to do. So, for example, today I got up, did everything, and then between 7 to 9, I had 2 great stories. Well, 2 what I think are great stories, and I filmed them both. And usually, what I'll do is I found personally for me between like 11 to 1 and like 4 to 5. Those are 2 sweet times for me. So I'll post in those 2 times, 1 or 2 a day. I've never had people complain about too much. And I've never gotten to the point where people would ever complain about too few, because the most I'll miss is like 2 days in a row for a weekend, you know? So I'm pretty committed and pretty consistent. And then pretty much the rest of my day is committed to my work. So between 9 to 4, I'm doing stocks, trading, all that kind of stuff, reading. And then I work on my online stores afterwards. And then I work on my real estate company at the end. So that's typically how my day looks.
And just so we kind of squeezing in these last 2 questions I have for you. So, so you said you're building like an online brand, like maybe like a clothing line. Is that like kind of like your shop?
Well, I mean, I have my own online marketing company that handles a lot of Shopify stores.
Okay.
But right now, I actually am coming out with merch. and it's gonna be So Keep Up merch.
I'll
Really
make
excited
sure to
about-
pick up one of those.
yeah, man. Let me know. I'll send it to you. But man, I'm like super excited for that. I'm working with a designer right now. I've never actually designed anything that I'm going to put my own name on. So this is very, very new for me. And I don't know how to. I'm still learning. Okay, so yeah, I'm coming out with merch though, so that should be coming out hopefully in August. I mean, I'm just as long as I get the design and get it delivered and stuff, I should be okay for August. I hope.
Yeah, and for an ending, of course. So can you say something to the people that maybe inspired you to make content, or something that is inspiring to upcoming creators? Something that's personal to, like something that you think is inspiring.
That's a good question. So I'll end off with a story. Whenever I get that question, I always like to say this story because
Okay, yeah, I saw the podcast with Mogul Insider. That's where I got that last question from.
Exactly. So for your watchers, I can share that story because that story really is my favorite story of all time. I have the main line of that story as my phone background and everything. So the story starts off with a child and his dad. Okay. And so the dad, and they're farmers in this beautiful land, but they're farmers there. And the dad wants to figure out what the secret to happiness is, right? So he tells his son to go speak to the king. And the king is the wisest person of the land. And he wants his kid to ask the king, what is the secret to happiness? So the boy goes up to the castle, and he waits in line, and he finally gets his chance to speak to the king. Gets up to the king, and he asks, I have one question. I want to know, what is the secret to happiness? And the king says, look, I don't have time to answer that right now, but here's what I'm going to do. He gives the kid a spoon, and he puts drops of oil on the spoon. He says, I want you to hold on to the spoon and walk around the entire castle, but make sure that no drops fall off the spoon. Okay? No drops of oil fall off the spoon. Kid goes, okay, no problem. Okay, fine. I don't know how this is going to help me, but let me try. So he takes a spoon and just starts walking around the castle, staring at the spoon, make sure not a single drop of oil falls off. Hours later, he finally walks all around and comes back. The king looks at the spoon. He says, okay, cool, but did you have a chance? And the oil's still there. The king says, did you have a chance to see the beautifully manicured garden that spent the master gardener 10 years to make? No. Did you spend time to look at the beautiful art, the beautiful statues? No, I was looking at the spoon the whole time. Because the king was like, okay, this time I want you to do the exact same thing, hold on to the spoon, but walk around and look at everything. Make sure you take it in and take in the beauty of the castle and the environment. He says, yeah, okay. This time he has a great time. He walks around looking at everything, comes back to the king, and the king sees no drops of oil on the spoon. The king is like, here is the secret to happiness. The secret to happiness is to see all the marvels and beauties of the world, but to never forget the drops of oil on the spoon. In other words, I take it as it's important to go out and enjoy everything that life has to offer. But at the same time, you have to remember the responsibilities that you have that are going to keep you going and being able to continue to enjoy those things. So for me, that I always looked at as a form of a parable that reminds me of having balance, of having something that I always look forward to. I love traveling. Right now it kind of sucks because I can't, but I love to travel. But at the same time, I want to build my work and everything around being able to travel. And when I'm working, I'm focused. But when I'm traveling, and I'm focused on traveling. You know what I mean? So that's one of the things that really inspires me.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us.
Absolutely, Braden. It was a pleasure, man.